Thanks. It's fantastic to be here.
So House Speaker Paul Ryan said, you know, a few people at the FBI, not the whole agency, but if a few people at the FBI behaved improperly, you should cleanse that part of the organization. Ryan says lawmakers are focused on doing a critical job.
It is our job to conduct oversight on behalf of the American people of the executive branch in case any powers were abused and civil liberties were abused by the executive branch. So there's a very legitimate issue here as to whether or not an American's civil liberties were violated in the FISA process. That's point number one. Point number two, this is a completely separate matter from Bob Mueller's investigation, and his investigation should be allowed to take its course.
Moments ago, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said that he's not aware of any active effort to undermine Special Counsel Robert Mueller. McConnell says he doesn't think he needs to take up legislation protecting Robert Mueller. It is worth noting that Speaker Ryan separated this memo from the Mueller probe because a lot of folks think it's designed to undermine the Mueller probe.
Speaker Ryan separated it, but Democrats are like, are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? They're jumping up and down on Capitol Hill going, this is just a distraction. That's all it is.
Yeah, no question about it. House Democratic Leader Nancy Pelosi really having some tough words about this memo and the actions of Republican leaders, calling it a cover-up. She says the Republican memo contains significant inaccuracies and omissions. She says it could jeopardize the effectiveness of the intelligence and law enforcement communities and calls it a sad political spectacle. The Senate Democratic leader weighed in just moments ago.
I'm really appalled by our Republican colleagues in reference to this. They've always been defenders of the FBI and protagonists of Putin, and they seem to have flipped. They remind me of a movie, The Silence of the Lambs. They're just not saying a thing.
Some Democrats have complained, worrying that this could undermine a critical law enforcement agency, the FBI.
Mike Emanuel, thank you very much.
Shep.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So there's been a lot of talk about this memo from the beginning since Devin Nunes wrote it. They began this hashtag, release the memo, release the memo. Then the Russian bots got on release the memo and started sending it out. It was the #1 trending thing. Then people started to trickle and learn what the memo was all about. Then they allowed everybody on Capitol Hill to read the memo. Then they said, all right, let's release the memo and no to the Democratic memo. And then the president has apparently been saying, release it as soon as possible, but not before the State of the Union is delivered. Ken Thomas is with us now here on Capitol Hill. He's a reporter for the Associated Press. What's the word on when they might actually do this releasing of this thing?
So they're in a 5-day window. They have 5 days to review it, to run it past the National Security Council, the White House Council. But the expectation is once the speech is over, within the next couple of days, we're going to see this
Within
memo
a couple of days?
in some form. They have 5 days to do it.
So, but they could release snippets and bits like tonight.
They could redact it, but we do think that the main thrust of the memo is likely to see the light of day.
And writing the memo was Devin Nunes, who had reportedly supposed to have recused himself from all of this, right?
That's right. Nunes has been pushing this, and our sources tell us that the president would like to see this as well. When the Justice Department aired their concerns about the memo, said it could be reckless to release it, the president wasn't very happy about it. We're also told that John Kelly, the White House chief of staff, was pushing the Justice Department to find a way, within the law to be able to release it. So there's, the White House that says that they're going to err on the side of transparency, but there does seem to be a push to get this out into the public.
Democrats will say that's about distraction. What's the White House calling this thing? Like, why are they doing this?
Well, I think they say that this should be out there, and the president will.
Why?
The president will note that there have been cases and concerns of bias within the FBI during the Clinton investigation and now during the Trump investigation, and so the concern is that you get this out in a public way.
There was the accusation that they're really tearing down the institutions of the country in the process, and since that has become a talking point, they've sort of pulled back. And all of them who speak, and I've been watching on all the channels today, they all say, the FBI is great, it's great, it's great, but some of it needs to be cleansed. They all keep using that word cleansed.
Right, and we saw
that has historical reference, that word cleanse.
Right, we saw the speaker refer to the Louis Brandeis argument of sunshine being the best disinfectant. There's this interest in getting it out there, but it does raise concerns. I mean, are we in the process politicizing the FBI, the intelligence community, and are our partners around the world going to look at us and question whether they should share information with us in the future? Is it going to be released in some way that they didn't anticipate?
Or that they did anticipate but decided we're going to do it